Wolverine is trading in those X-Men claws
So tell me, do you want to go?
for a top hat and cane. The ever-versatile leading man, Hugh Jackman, depicting a decidedly more human hero. P.T. Barnum
No one ever made a difference by being like everyone else.
in The Greatest Showman.
As the ringmaster, you have the cane and you have the hat.
Yep.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice flair. I like the panache. Put the hat on the head.
Oh, come on!
And with those tricks, it seems nobody's better than Jackman for the role.
I have to be able to do it with my eyes closed.
That's incredible.
Yeah. There you go. I'm showing off now. So we had 10 weeks of rehearsal, but I was vocally preparing for 2 years before, and I literally came straight from shooting Logan to shooting this. Like, I had a weekend off and then I came to it, and I can tell you this was tougher physically.
What do Wolverine and P.T. Barnum, if anything, have in common?
They do have some things in common. On the surface, very different people, but they both have fight. Push them up against a wall, back them into a corner, look out. And I've got a little bit of that.
The movie, an over-the-top homage to the father of showbiz, a musical take on the real life of P.T. Barnum, the risk-taker who founded the Barnum and Bailey Circus in the 19th century.
7 years in development.
And a half.
Not that anyone's counting. What's it like after all those years to see it come to life?
It's a great thrill. It's nerve-wracking because I care so much about it. We have become a family. And also, I've been around long enough to know that these things don't come along very often.
I think I've had an idea.
The film follows his journey in creating the first ever circus,
I'm putting together a show. And I need a star.
rallying a group of outcasts and misfits into a spectacle, united against backlash and bigotry.
There is a strong current of taking outcasts, allowing them to come out of the shadows.
Yeah.
Yet, at the same time, it's met with some of sort of mob mentality.
Right.
Are there sort of parallels in current affairs that you draw on? And-
Absolutely.
Yeah, because art always reflects life.
As we developed this for 7 years, the theme of inclusion, the theme of tolerance came further and further to the surface of the movie. I'm an Australian. I've come all the way across the world to America to live here, and I've only ever felt welcomed, supported. And I just have a feeling now we're just retreating a little bit.
The film's glowing depiction of Barnum's life makes some selective jumps, glancing over accusations that he took advantage of, even exploited people who were social pariahs.
P.T. Barnum is a bit of a flawed hero in real life.
Yeah, he's definitely a flawed character. I think that's why I was drawn to him. Was he probably using the bearded lady and Tom Thumb at the beginning to sell tickets? Yeah, he was. But what happened was he genuinely created this family. I'm not sure if that's what he intended at the beginning.
Barnum's famed circus closed its doors for good earlier this year amid dwindling ticket sales and after years of animal cruelty allegations by rights groups.
In the movie, you ride a CGI elephant.
Yes.
Was that fear of the, cruelty to animals accusations?
We were never going to use animals in the movie. I totally agree. Everyone with the film totally agrees. Animals should not be used in circus or in any form of entertainment in that way. That's a bygone era. But this is 1850. It is there, and that's why we used CGI animals, because we didn't want anyone to think that we were exploiting or celebrating that in any way.
Barnum may have invented showbiz, but Hugh Jackman is now dominating it. A rare, bankable action hero headlining blockbusters like X-Men.
Who am I?
But then morphing
2, 4, 6.
from superhero to song and dance man, Jean Valjean in Les Miserables.
Here's your host, Hugh Jackman.
Charming enough to host the Oscars.
I'm an Australian who played an Australian in a movie called Australia.
And the Tonys. Not once, but 4 times.
I love the Tonys.
Plus, he took one home.
Hugh Jackman, the boy from
The film and Jackman's portrayal of Barnum already nominated for Golden Globes. A role far different than the one that made him a household name, Wolverine. That character's final performance hit the screens earlier this year in Logan.
You watched that final performance with tears in your eyes.
Oh, yeah, not just in my eyes, rolling down my cheeks. I'll be honest, I was so nervous to see that final showing. And I just really was pinching myself and felt so blessed and so relieved because I knew it was my last. And I wanted to go to sleep at night for the rest of my life knowing that I'd made the movie that I'd always felt was there.
In this film, Jackman is joined by a powerhouse cast. Michelle Williams as his ever-patient wife, Zac Efron as his junior partner.
So what percentage of the show would I be taking?
You talk a lot about transcending class in
Right.
this movie.
Yeah. In some ways, Barnum, the story of Barnum is the story of the birth of show business, but I would go further and say it's the story of modern America. In the very beginning, there were limitations of your class, of your background, of your family name. There were certain places you couldn't go, and Barnum was one of those.
But a big-budget Hollywood musical, still not a sure thing, even when the composers are the Oscar and Tony-winning duo behind La La Land and Dear Evan Hansen.
City of stars, are you shining just for me?
You had two songwriters who at the time were somewhat unknown.
Yeah, they were unknown. No, they were unknown.
And you had to even fib some credentials in order to get them studio to buy in?
There may have been some Barnum humbug, a little bit of hoodwinking going on. And these young guys somehow got in there, met Michael Gracie, our director, wrote one song which we all loved.
What was the hook that grabbed you?
It was A Million Dreams, and it was a beautiful, simple song. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head.
A million dreams are keeping me awake.
And it was a hook. Michael Gracie went in and had a meeting with a studio exec, I won't tell you the name. And the studio exec's like, who are these guys? Justin and Benj? What? Who are these kids? They said, oh, well, they're very big. They just won a Tony Award. And the guy goes, for what? And he said, James and the Giant Peach, which was the first thing that came to his mind. There's never been a Broadway production of James and the Giant Peach. And now they just got nominated for 3 Grammy Awards. They won the Tony for Dear Evan Hansen. They won the Oscar for La La Land, and they don't talk to me anymore.
They won't return your calls.
It's fine.
For Nightline, I'm Juju Chang in New York.